My mother thought it was untenable for me to live there. And she said to my father, it's either she goes or I go. And my father said, well, son, I can live without you. And I said, okay, you will. And I was out the next day. I got to this point when 32 years later, when I got her number through my sister, thanks to Facebook, and called her up. And I thought I was being really grown up. But my first questions to her were the questions of a 16-year-old boy. Like, what did I do wrong? How bad could I have been? What did I do to ignite this in you? And she made a list. And actually the first statement was, well, you bucked the system. And I got zoom back to 16. Like, what does that mean? I didn't know what that meant when I was 16, buck as in bucking a horse. I didn't know what that meant then, and I still don't understand what that means now, Mother. I'd been dating a woman for a year or so on and off at high school, and when I left school. And her mother, her name is Joy, and her mother got to a point and said, Warren, you're just not doing enough for yourself. Yes, you have a job, but really you're just pissing your money up against the wall, like literally Friday night, drink, get drunk. And I want better for my daughter. And I thought, oh, okay. So I joined the army. And if you look at army kids, many of them come from broken homes, or they come from a lineage, or they come from poverty. Empires need poor people so they can, have armies. After some time, my parents decided they want to try and reconnect with me. And they decided to do that through my commanding officer. My commanding officer said to me, Lieutenant Buttery, you should connect with your parents. I order you to contact your family. I said, with all due respect, sir, you can fuck off. I was exhausted. I sat down in this swamp. This guy had gone off ahead. I didn't know where he was. I sat down in the swamp, crying, bawling my eyes out. Really, I don't know where I am. That was when I really looked at death. Yeah. There was this man. He was an older man. He probably would have been somewhere 50-ish. And I was sitting in the medical clinic in the little camp. And I just sat down next to him and he started to tell me a story. He had no arms. I was dealing with the trauma of my dead partner, and I started bawling. I just wept like a child and literally ran out of the clinic and ran home. And I took me maybe 4 or 5 days before I could muster the courage to go back into the camp. Sure. And I went back into the camp, and of course, I found him. And I sat down with him and said, thank you so much for your story. But why did you tell me this? He said, I felt you needed to cry. He felt my trauma. I wanted to share his experience to be able to allow me to let it go. That was a huge catharsis for me. And I continued working on the camp, and I really appreciated him. Yeah. So that was a big event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me trying to tell that at Burning Man one year to a young, scantily dressed woman while we were on LSD was a really bad mistake. But